Meta ads don't work if you still run them like you used to in 2018. Today, winning on Meta means mastering 3 key things: broad targeting, AI-enhanced workflows, and high-performance creative. And let's be honest, creative is where most brands fall flat. I'm Fraser, I'm one of the co-founders at Fraggell. We're an e-commerce ad agency based in the UK, and we've worked with brands like Nailboo, Aloha, Chomps, and Govee, just to name a few, and our ads have spent over 600 million on Meta. This is your complete Meta ads guide, Creative Edition. We'll walk through everything from ad scripts to static ads and copy, production techniques, psychology triggers, the whole thing. And we'll even go over some examples from brands that we've worked with to show you what high-performance ad creative actually looks like. No matter if you're a media buyer, a founder, or you're just starting out, by the end of this video, you will know exactly what goes into making ad creative that converts. So, without further ado, let's dive in, shall we? 3.6 billion people use Meta apps: Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, and even WhatsApp. The reach is absolutely ginormous, and the best part is that Meta have developed AI systems and algorithms that help show your ads to who they believe are the most likely to convert. So no matter whether you're selling products or you're collecting emails, whatever it is, creative is the first thing that people see, but also the main thing that Meta uses to push your ads to the right people. The key thing to remember here, there are a whole lot of people on Meta, but Meta might not be the best platform for your business. For most e-commerce brands and even B2B brands, Meta is an incredibly powerful tool. If you have a great offer, great creative, and a great product, the chances are you're going to absolutely kill on the platform. However, it's not right for everyone. If you have a really niche product or service, there is a chance that it might just be too expensive to advertise on Meta. Then it might be worth looking at other advertising platforms and fishing in the right pools. But no matter where you're advertising, the most important thing is your creative. If your creative isn't right, then you're not going to get anyone engaging with your ads. And the first thing that goes into winning creative is creative strategy. And that's where we're going to start. So how do you make a winning creative strategy? I actually did a full video on it. You can watch it. There's a link somewhere on the screen as well as down below. However, in summary, this is how you do it. The first thing is to audit what is missing in your ad account right now. We're talking, your media mix. Do you have carousels? Do you have images? Do you have video? Do you have UGC? All these different media types, you want to make sure that you have all bases covered. And then after that, you need to identify what angles you might be missing. We're talking problem solution, us versus them statics, objective handling, UGC. These are all your angles. And you need to make sure that you're covering as many as you can, because that adds to creative diversity, and that's what Meta like. The next part of creative strategy is to reflect your customer within your ads. The best way that we found to do that at Fraggell is by using your customer's actual words. Looking at reviews or what people are saying about you on Reddit is a great place to start. Another great place is actually the comments that people are leaving on your ads. This is a fantastic way to learn the language in which your customers speak in, but also what your product actually fixed for them. There's this thing that I like to call the brand bubble, where people get stuck inside it when they're working day in, day out on that brand. They have tunnel vision. And sometimes you need to actually speak to your customer or read what your customer is saying to fully understand the real reasons why they are purchasing and using your product. And that is at the heart of creative strategy. If you can nail that, if you can home in on the real reason why people are purchasing your product, that's where you unlock ridiculous growth. Now, once you have a creative strategy, you might be looking at video ads, for example. And so we need to cover how to actually write a good script. Again, I did a full video on this, how to write ad scripts that you can go and have a watch in full if you want to. However, at its basic level, most ads come down to a problem solution. You are selling a product that solves a problem for your customer. So the first thing that we do is we hook the user in. We want to make sure that we're grabbing attention off the feed. You can do that in a multitude of ways, a crazy shot or a relatable caption or voiceover. And then once you have that, you need to highlight the problem. What is the problem that your product solves? Perhaps you're a skincare brand and the problem that you're solving is acne. Well, we need to make people aware that acne is what you're solving. Once you've done that, now you need to present your product. There's plenty of ways that you can mix this up and you can get creative with with it. Don't just go, you know, this. Mix things up, see what works for your customer. But the important thing here is show people the problem that you solve, show them how you solve the problem using your product, and then finally tell them where they can purchase your product along with some social proof. They're the key factors that go into any winning script. In fact, this exact framework has made millions for some of our clients. Honestly, go onto our website, have a look at some of our work, and you will realize there's a common theme. A lot of the ads follow a similar flow, and that's because it works. Don't complicate something if it's already working. One little secret tip here is that if you can layer up multiple problems and then have your product come as a solution to all of them, your customer is much more likely to convert because you're not just dealing with one problem. A great example of this is with acne. One problem might be the actual spots. The next problem might be the dry skin that comes with many acne products. And so if your product tackles acne at its root cause as well as the dry skin that comes as a side effect, it's happy days. Why would someone not want to purchase the product? And that's what a good script can do. It builds layers, it calls people to action to purchase the product, it makes people act on emotion. And talking about emotion, psychology triggers, they are one of the key ways that you can make your ads convert. So let's talk about them. Again, made a full video on that. You can have a look if you want a more in detailed look. But the main ones that you'll see often, the first one being FOMO, fear of missing out. People just simply don't want to be left out. And so including things like only 3 left in your landing page or on your creative really helps people act quickly. And that actually leads me nicely onto scarcity. You see this all the time. Think about like QVC and the shopping channels where they used to tell you how many people were on the phone currently and how many products were left in stock. That is scarcity at its very best. You're making people scared of getting FOMO. The other powerful one, which you will see all the time in e-commerce, is social proof. The matter of fact is that people will purchase a product if they know that other people similar to them have seen success with it. It's the same reason why I told you at the start of the video how many brands we've worked with and the type of brands that work well with us is because that is social proof. One of your peers has trusted us. So for example, 10,000 of our products have been sold, 10,000 happy customers, or even just a simple testimonial on your website can do wonders. Another great one is price anchoring. You see this a lot. Instead of showing your product as a monthly figure, you show it as a lower daily figure because that anchors the price at a lower fee, meaning that people will be more willing to part with the money because it doesn't seem like such a big investment. And one of my favorites, and we'll finish with this one, is authority. At the end of the day, just like social proof, people buy because of other people, but one person that they really trust is an expert in the field. Let's go back to the acne example that we spoke about before. If you get a dermatologist to speak about your product, about how great it is and how, you know, they're using it for their customers, people will trust you. A fantastic brand that does this all the time is Pet Lab Co. Essentially what they do is they get vets to talk about the problems that dogs have and then say how the products from Pet Lab Co. have helped those customers. It's a perfect use of expert marketing within your ad creative. Now let's have a look at this quick example from a winning ad that we made for one of our clients, and we can break it down to see why this was a winning ad. What's the key in the script that made it a winner?
Very smooth.
I just get it
First thing, the hook. We are counting people down, making them wait for a reaction about something that he's eating. Will it be negative? Will it be positive? I'm hooked.
I just got an Aloha sample pack, and I'm super excited to try out some new flavors. Aloha bars are natural nutrition done right.
Then after that, we go into why Aloha bars are natural nutrition. Everyone is on the protein hype. Everybody wants to know that what they're eating is good for them. And so that's what we relay in the script right at the beginning.
Our natural nutrition done right. Everything you need out of a snack is right here. 14 grams of...
And then after that, we list all the things that are inside Aloha bars. 14 grams of protein. It's dairy free. And then we also talk about the actual product that we're advertising, which is the sample packs. We talk about how it's a fantastic way to try all the different flavors and find your favorite. And what I like most is that it's 100% organic, made with real plant ingredients, and it's with ingredients that you can taste and pronounce. This is one of the major problems that we found that people had with most protein bars. They were full of all these chemicals and stuff that you really didn't know what it did. And so we made sure that when we're making ads for this brand that we're mentioning normal ingredients, the nuts, the flavors, flavor in, like all the stuff that actually goes into making one of these bars. Now let's move into the next section, which is all about designing static ads. Static ads are incredibly powerful. They are possibly one of the easiest ads that you can make. You can test out messaging super fast, and they're normally pretty affordable. The main things that I like to remember when I'm designing statics is the first one being they are normally sitting at a certain point in your funnel. That is at the bottom to middle of your funnel. People have already seen you perhaps through one of your UGC videos at the top of the funnel, and now it's all about making ads that are filling people with what they need to push them over the finish line. A great example of this is like social proof statics with quotes on them, because you are giving someone the social proof that they need to help them feel confident in a purchase. However, you still need to remember that sometimes people don't know or don't care about your brand, and so you need to make sure that your ads do work from a cold and a warm perspective. There is always going to be a trending static style. Think like the iMessage frameworks or the, Apple Note screenshots. They're trending formats, but they often don't stick around. Instead, the ones that stick around are your headline statics, your call out statics. These are like the basic image ads that every single brand runs. And the reason they do is because they just work. You're keeping it simple in the statics and you're focusing on formats that just work. If you're constantly trying to make like the newest trend of image ads, it's just not going to end well for you, because these trends die because people run them and they realize that they aren't getting the results that everyone said they were going to get on Twitter. Another great tip here is that your customers are your copywriters. For example, going into your reviews to help you write headlines for your ads, whether it's an inspiration for a line or using the actual quote as a headline. But also what's super important here is that because you understand how your customer speaks, because we did the research in the creative strategy section, you can write like they want to see writing and what they want to hear, using language which is familiar with them. You wouldn't speak to a 40-year-old woman the same way that you'd speak to a 16-year-old girl. They're different languages, they're from different generations. And so you need to make sure that you reflect that within your static ads, otherwise you're going to end up with ads that people just aren't interested in. What is so very important when it comes to static ads is that you are clear and concise. The more crap that's on the screen, the more likely are that people are just going to scroll past. So you need to make sure your copy is easily skimmable. You need to make sure that the product images that you have in your ad are clear and crisp. And if you're going for a more organic feel, then you make sure that that fits into the organic placement that you're using, i.e. using Instagram story fonts and styles if you're running image ads on Instagram stories. Keeping things clear and easy to understand is the best way when it comes to statics. I always get asked this question: do I go high branded statics or do I go lo-fi UGC? And the answer is test it. I know it's like the most marketing answer ever, but it really does depend. I have seen both work for brands that I did not expect were going to work. Often enough, the brand department of any company wants them to look polished, but sometimes you have to step back and go, what does my customer actually want to see? Beauty brands are a brilliant example of this. Beauty, the branding of it is often very aesthetically pleasing. It's often really nice to look at, but that isn't always the best type of statics that perform for beauty brands, because the consumers want to see people like them using the product and content like they could make. They want to consume it. And so often enough, if you look at brands like Curology, they have a real mix. They have these like highly branded stuff, but then they have stuff which is more like scrappy and UGC post-it note style ads, because they know that they have different customers that have different needs and wants. I have an entire video on statics. You can give it a watch again to go deeper into statics, why they work and how to make ones that actually convert. Now, my favorite part, video ads. We make so many of these at Fraggell, like over 700 every single month. A successful video ad comes down to a good script. We spoke about it a little bit earlier in creative strategy, but your script comes down to a great framework and great copywriting. You want it to match the language that your customer is speaking in. You want to match the right tone that they want to hear. And all that comes from creative strategy and the research that you do. So there's no real way to write the perfect script. I would definitely, watch a couple more of my videos where I go deeper into scripting, but essentially stick to one of the familiar formats that people want to see: problem solution, an expose format, and then get really good at writing them, really good at understanding your customer. The key things that are in every single winning script we make at Fraggell is, number one, objection handling. Normally people have a reason why they haven't purchased your product before, find out what it is, and find a way to manage it. Social proof, so important. People want proof that your product works, and they want to hear that from people just like them. And a strong call to action. Remember, people won't do something unless you tell them what to do. If you pair them with a great hook, then the chances are you're going to have a winning ad. Now, when it comes to making video ads, a lot of you are probably turning to AI tools, and I totally understand why you would do it, because at the end of the day, video is possibly one of the harder ad creatives to make, so you want a shortcut. But unfortunately, the best ads that we make, they just don't get made through shortcuts. They get made through great creative strategy, great casting, and great editing. And we do all of that for you at Fraggell. So if you fancy speaking to me and learn more about what we do, there's a QR code on the screen, or you can book a call down below and let's have a chat. I truly believe that AI creative isn't going anywhere, but I don't think it's going to take over the ad creative which everybody makes now. I think AI ad creative is going to become its own category. There is going to be agencies which are incredibly good at making AI ad creative. It's going to be something that we see more and more. But unless you understand the core principles of ad creative, it doesn't matter what you're using to make one, because they're not going to work. At Fraggell, we have the ability to make any type of ad creative, from that AI mashup creative to UGC stuff or to studio stuff. In fact, let me show you. Come with me. And this is our studio where we film high production stuff for our clients, so that we can have that AI mashup stuff or the UGC lo-fi content, because we need the ability to have creative diversity in the ad account. So if we want to film high production product videos or podcast stuff on our code, we need the ability to do that. And you need, if you are going to hire an agency, a partner that can do that, or do it in-house, whatever it is, you just need to make sure that you have creative diversity. That is what matters AI wants, because it helps them target the creative to the right people. You see, sometimes going to the effort to shoot something in a studio and take time to craft a great picture is worth it. Now, the other side of the coin is UGC, probably the most popular ad format and the one that so many people get wrong, because at the heart of it is good creators. At Fraggell, we make so much UGC and we've got casting absolutely nailed. And the best way to do casting is on a website called Backstage. There's also a UK version of this called Star Now. These are casting platforms. We use them to cast in-house talent, but you can also find a lot of UGC creators on there. The key here is to write a very good casting call. You want to explain who you want and who you don't want, and then it's just going to take a lot of hard work to go through it and find the right people. You want to make sure that those people are fully vetted. Make sure that they actually have experience in UGC ads. Make sure that they understand how to read a script on camera. There is no easy way about this. There's no cheat code. Unfortunately, if you want good UGC creators, you want good people on camera, you just have to search for it. In fact, again, I've done a great video on how you can find fantastic UGC creators. Now, we're almost at the end. Bear with me. Let's talk about reading data and optimizing on your results. There is a couple of key metrics that you need to keep in mind when you are running ads. ROAS, return on ad spend, how much money you're getting back for what you put in. Cost per purchase or cost per lead, your CPA. That's how much you're actually spending for someone to purchase the product. CTR, your click-through rate, how many people are clicking from your ad to your website. Your frequency, this is a number of how many times your ad has been shown to an individual user. Higher the number, the more times people have seen your ad, it's a sign that your ad is fatiguing. Lower, then you might not be targeting the right people. And then finally, conversion rate, how many people are actually converting from your ads. I would take some time to find what the best custom column dashboard setup is for your ad. You can do this in Meta Ad Manager. Take some time, put in the metrics that are important to you, understand the customer journey. There are a lot of fantastic softwares out there that can help you do this. One of the ones that we use at Fraggell every single day is Motion. This gives you a kind of creative focused view on your results on your ad account. Why is this ad performing well? And it helps you answer one of the core questions is, why is this ad performing better than the others? When it comes to actually making decisions in your ad account, I'm no ad buyer. I don't want to tell you how to spend your budget. There's so many better YouTube videos on that. How I see it is you need to make sure that you give your ads enough spend to test, to have the opportunity to get purchases. But the most important thing is, are you profitable? If your CPA is super high, just cut the ad. It's not worth it. But that needs to fit into the larger arena that is your business. If you can afford to spend more money to acquire a first-time customer because you're going to get them back on subscriptions, then maybe it's worth keeping the ad on. Can you see how this can get really complicated? And sadly, I'm a bit out of my depth. Listen, there is a million different ways on how to structure your ad account. account. Everyone will tell you something different. Find what works for you and then stick with it. But there's a couple of mistakes that I see people doing all the time. Judging results way too early. The ads haven't got enough spend for you to make a decision yet. Getting your targeting so ridiculously narrow that Facebook is just never going to show your ads to anyone. Using tiny budgets and expecting returns. Unfortunately, in this game, you are going to have to put the money where your mouth is. You're going to have to start with maybe, $50 a day and then ramp up. And then finally, putting in too many ads at once. You might have like 50 ads that you want to launch, but if your budget doesn't support that, then the chances are it's a waste. You may as well spread it out over a couple of weeks. And remember, at the heart of your ad account is your creative. I know I'm biased. I make ad creative for a living, but your ads simply wouldn't exist if it wasn't for ad creative. So that's it. You have all of my systems. That is it. This is the masterclass on making great ads. From writing scroll stopping scripts all the way into how to analyze the ads in your account. And remember, if you're a brand spending over 70 to 80,000 on ads every single month, I would love to chat. There's a QR code on screen. Give it a scan if you're watching on your TV, or there's a link in the description to book a call. I would love to speak with you and see how we can work together. And finally, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I post weekly videos like this on ad creative and e-commerce in general. So if you're up for some free education, hit the subscribe button. And with all that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.